Good afternoon, everybody. We'll go ahead and get started with the conference webinar. I'll start with a few housekeeping items. First, today we are going to actually accept questions as we go. So if any questions pop up as I'm running through the app, go ahead and ask them right away. We may or may not cover them at the time, depending on if I'm going to cover it later, but Tammy should let you know on the back end where you ask the questions. She'll let you know that we received it and we'll be covering it at some point. There will be a recording of this webinar available in case you missed anything or want to share it with anybody. It will be available on our website. If you go under the Conference and Meetings tab, the last thing on the drop-down menu is Webinars. It will be available there. And there are also materials available at that same place for the webinar. There's a how to get started tutorial. There's links to all of the the app on all the different devices, Android, Apple, and the HTML site as well. So I'll go ahead and get started. So kind of to give you a little bit of history, ISAC has been looking into a conference app for many years. We were kind of unable to find one that gave us everything we were looking for, that was within our budget, that would be easy for our members to use, that would be easy for ISAC to use, and would be feasible for us to use. NACO switched to this platform that we're using a few conferences ago, and from an attendee side, we were really impressed with it. We noticed that it had kind of a social media type feel, so it would be very easy for the members to use, very easy for them to jump into. There wouldn't be a lot of learning in terms of how to navigate in general. We also like the ability for you to personalize it, to make it your own app, kind of the way you make the conference your own as well. And then also other state associations have used it across the country, and they all gave us great reviews, and so we decided to give it a try. Something else, the board has asked us in the past couple of years to start to go paperless, so this is another way that we're able to do that. We will still have conference programs available. They'll be in limited supply at the conference registration booth. They're also available on the app and on the website if you want to print them on your own or just refer to them at any time. We know that there will be a learning curve with the app. So at the conference itself, we're providing 4 ISAC staff members who will be fully dedicated to providing support to the members. Andrea, Dan, Dylan, and Madeline. They'll be both at the registration desk and then roaming around the conference at different times. All the ISAC staff who are trained in the app also will be wearing little neon green inserts in their name badges, and any of them will be happy to answer any questions that you have. So, how I'm going to run through this app, I'm on what you see is what I have on my iPad. This is actually the HTML version of the app, so this is what you will see if you have a Windows phone or if you log on your laptop or computer. It will be a little bit different than what you'll see on your mobile device, whether it be an iPhone, an Android, an iPad, things like that, but it's relatively similar, just not quite as pretty. You'll have more functions available on your device as well if you're on one of those previously mentioned devices. So, what you'll need to do first is you'll need to access the app in the App Store. I've already done that because I have it downloaded on my device. So if you're on an iPhone, you want to go to the App Store and search, or on the Google Play Store and search ISAC Fall School. It should pop right up, and then you just follow the prompts as you would when downloading any other app. You'll probably have to enter a password. You'll have to let them know you want to receive pop-up notifications, things like that. It will download and should pop up on your home screen. So I'll give everybody a few seconds to do that. If you experience any difficulties in doing that, go ahead and type it into your comments or chat bar on the side of your GoToMeetings window pane, and Tammy will let me know, or she can answer you directly. She's also trained in the app and webinar tools. So once you get the app downloaded on your device, or if you already have it, this is what you'll see. It will prompt you to enter your email address first and foremost. So I have not signed in under any sort of account, so I'm going to create a new account so you can see kind of how it's done and how easy and simply it's done as well. So I'm going to use kind of my dummy email address, which is communications@iowacounties.org. Make sure I have it right. I don't. And you'll go ahead and just hit enter. And it will show you all of our current events, which ISAC Fall School is the one we want. So all I do is click on that. And then it pops up with the next screen, which is asking you to fill in your profile information, basically. You'll have a profile within the app as you do on any social media sort of account. So I'm going to use my last name as webinar just so we can tell the difference between this account and my normal Rachel Bennett account. For some reason that's already in there somehow. And so I will save that, and I'm in. I will be sent an email from Double Dutch. That's the software that this app is created through. It will have a password included and a prompt to reset your password. This password is only needed if you are logging into the app on a different device. So if I want to log in on my iPhone and my iPad, I will need the password on the second device that I log into. So you will need to reset your password if you're doing this. If you're only logging on one device, you will never need the password. So don't worry about that. Okay, so when you log into the app, the first thing you see is what's called the activity feed. And it's kind of like an activity feed in your social media. You could scroll down it. And you're not going to see me scrolling real smoothly, but you'll see it in the app, how it works. And you can see all the posts that have happened on the app. So I'll go right up to the top. So you can browse these different posts the same way you would in social media. As you'll see, this post that I posted yesterday, it's received 8 likes, so you can see who liked it. You can click on who liked it and see more about that person. You can also see any comments that were to happen. And I'll show you right now. You can just comment the same way you would in any sort of device. Great name badges. And it'll show up on there that I posted that. If you want to post on the activity feed, you can see at the top there's a little post update. I believe on your phones or tablets there's a little pencil. You just click on that and then you can start to post. You can post a picture. You can either take a picture or allow it access to your camera and post any sort of update. So as you'll see, this little screen popped up that tells me that I got 3 points for posting that update, or 2 points for posting the update. I already had a point for something else, maybe for commenting. Each function that you do in the app as a participant will give you points. These points will be shown on what's called a leaderboard, which I'll tell you about later. But just to let you know, this is what those notifications are going to look like. And each time you receive a notification, you receive points, you'll get something like this that pops up. And this is the only way that you can track how many points you have, and we can't track them on the back end either. So basically, yeah, this is what you'll need to know if you want to participate in the leaderboard function in the app. Okay, that is pretty much the activity feed, and I can see people liking and commenting on things as I'm talking, so I see that you're understanding how to use it. That's good. Next up, I will go ahead and cover the leaderboard since we just talked about it. So in your little, I have it right here where it says More. You will have it on the left side under your drop-down menu. It will kind of look like the same sort of thing. Leaderboard is down here with a little trophy. If you click on that, and this is what's called the leaderboard. It is a listing of the top 20 people in the app who have the most amount of points for participating in the app. Like I said before, you get points for all sorts of different things. Let's see, for example, if you post a status update, you can rate or review vendors under the exhibitor tab. If you add a profile picture, you get points. Fill out a poll, fill out a survey, things like that. This will be a competition during the conference that you can choose whether you want to be a part of or not. You absolutely don't have to, but what we're going to incentivize it a little bit. At the end of the conference, which is at 12 p.m. on Friday, November 20th, the top 20 individuals on the leaderboard, excluding ISAC staff, will be entered into a drawing for 2 free conference registrations for the spring school. So we don't necessarily want to give it to the top couple people just because we don't want it to promote any sort of spamming or anything like that, but we do want to reward the people who are active within the app and really make the conference experience that much better for everybody. So we will start. Oh, somebody has a question. One moment.
Being how you're showing this on the screen right now, I had a person inquire how they could attach their photo, because as we can tell, some people do not have it up there, and they were wanting to know how to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to add a profile photo, what you'll do is, hang with me for a second. So you'll see over here, I believe, where it had my little RW, or I believe in your phones. Let me double check my phone for a second. If you click on the menu drop down, it'll show your profile at the top left, where it'll say your name and show your, basically a circle. You click on that and go into your profile, and you'll hit edit profile. And if you click on the picture, it says you can take a photo or choose a photo from your library, and that's how you'll update your profile picture. Or if you can't figure out how to do it there, if you shoot me an email with your photo, I can do it on the back end as well, pretty easily. So, but it should be pretty easy to do from your end as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty, so moving on down, at the very top of your menu, basically your menu bar, is activity feed. So we've already covered that. So next we'll go to the agenda tab, which is right next to it. The agenda tab is every single agenda item that's on the conference schedule. This includes anything that ISAC is doing, so any of our exhibitor breakfasts, lunches, general sessions, everything like that, but it also includes every single breakout session under the affiliates agenda. So what you're going to see, if you scroll down, you're going to see a ton of sessions at the same time, but they are, as you can see, broken down into different rooms. We've also included the affiliate on the main page so you can see which affiliate that room goes to. An easy way to sort these is if you click on Filter next to My Agenda at the top, it will bring up a little list of all of the affiliates. Also, ISAC conference, exhibitor events under there. So let's pretend we are an assessor. So we click on assessor, a little check mark comes up, and we also want to see the ISAC conference agenda items. So we click on that. So we have those two selected, and then we hit apply. That's going to filter all of the sessions. So all you're seeing now is what's on the assessor's agenda. And also I should mention, mine looks a little differently than it's going to look on your devices. You're going to have to click the arrows at the top right next to the date. So it'll say Tuesday, November 17th, and then there'll be a little arrow over, and then you go to Wednesday. So yours is going to be broken up by day, whereas mine just shows the days right next to each other. So you'll see all of the agenda items that are under the assessor's affiliate agenda. So let's say I'm arriving on Wednesday at 8 a.m. So we're going to personalize our agenda now, so we can make our own agenda for the conference. So I am going to go to the exhibitor morning or refreshments. So I click on the little calendar icon on the right side, and as you can tell, it turned blue. I'm also going to attend, let's see, GIS seminar, disaster recovery seminar, exhibitor social, and ISAC general session. So now if I click on my agenda at the very top, it's going to, you're only going to see those items that I selected that I want to go to. Also under the phones, it has an option under my agenda. There's a little arrow, like a share arrow is what I call it. If you click on that, you can actually export it to your calendar within your phone. So that's a pretty nifty tool as well in case you use a separate calendar. So that's that. If you want to remove any filters, you can just click on the arrow again, and it'll remove your filters. And then don't forget to hit apply again to get back to just the standard default view with every single agenda item on it. And you can remove the agenda items if you want to as well. Does anybody have any questions about the agenda? I guess one more thing I should note about the agenda. If you click into, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and filter it again just by treasures and by ISAC conference. I'll hit apply. So if you go into some of the different sessions, there is actually more information available behind the session. So if I go into treasures business meeting, the business meeting agenda is actually behind there as well. Sometimes it just lists whoever's speaking or if it's a panel discussion, the different speakers, things like that. And then also, if you go to the ISAC general session, it's just somewhere down here. I must have lost my filter. Again, it's a little bit easier to navigate on a phone because you don't have to go back and forth like this. But that's right. So if you go to the general session, you can actually see some of the speakers. It's set up a little bit differently. You'll see the agenda on there, so you'll know what's coming next. And then if you go dig down deeper into the speakers, you can see, you can click on their Facebook, their Twitter, their LinkedIn, things like that. You can read their entire session. You can also rate the speakers. So this speaker we know is going to be amazing. So we can just say amazing and post a review. So that's a pretty cool function as well. Something that I was going to mention later, but I'll mention now. One of the great things about this app from our point of view is all of the data that we'll get after the conference on the back end. We'll get a lot of data that shows what's popular within the app, where our attendees are going, what sessions they're attending. So the more you use the app, the more it tells us what sort of things you like. It also helps speakers, for instance, or exhibitors with feedback, or if other attendees look in and you rate an exhibitor as being really strong, they might check them out as well. So it's going to help everybody the more you use the app. Alrighty. Do we have any questions about the agenda function?
Not yet.
All right. We'll move on to attendees, which will be the next item on your drop-down menu, or for me it's on the top. So here you will see a listing of all of the attendees who have signed up for the app under the conference. They are listed in alphabetical order, and if you scroll down, you can see them. Some have pictures, some don't. They all have, or some have titles by their names, things like that. A great thing about these attendees is they're searchable. So at the very top, you can say search attendees. If you want to find all of the treasures, anybody who has typed in treasure in any part of their profile will pop up under here. So you can see all the treasures that are signed up, which is pretty cool. So under each attendee, you can create networks, which is another cool function. So right now I'm signed up as my webinar profile. So if we go to, this is my regular profile. If we go here, you can see that this is me. So I can like myself. The little guy in the upper right, or girl in the upper right-hand corner has a plus sign. If you do that, you're now going to be connected to this person and receive updates from that person. If you go to, in the lower right-hand corner, there's a network tab. If you go to that network, you can see everybody who's following me and everybody who I'm following. That's another way to expand your network as well. So let's say, you can find anybody in there from, if you're liking another treasure and you're a treasure, you can find a bunch of different treasures that you might not know, and we're using the app, things like this. You can also see everything that I've done within the app. So you can scroll down and see all the activities specific to me that I've posted. And then you can also see more information under my About Me tab, which is some default achievements that are within the app. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah. So let's see.
I had a quick question.
Of course.
Rach, she wanted to know if we can invite others to join the app. I'm not sure.
That's a good question in terms of, so everything, so this is, I'm guessing this is what you're asking, but I may be wrong. Within your, so when you go in your app store to download the app, you can share the app with other people. So you can send it, I can't show you this on my actual device because I'm actually in a GoToMeetings webinar and it won't let me leave. But under where you search for the app in your app store, you can click it's the little up arrow with the box around it. If you click that, you can have the option to share the app with others. So you could email it or text it to other people to share the app. Within the app itself is kind of a self-contained, I don't know how to, network kind of.
Right.
So we can share a little bit out, so you can choose to share stuff on your Twitter or things like that, but we cannot share anything in. So it's kind of tricky how that works. I don't believe you can actually find people outside of the app inside of the app, if that's what you're asking. If that doesn't answer your question, please let me know and I can go into it a little deeper.
It answers.
Okay, great. That answers your question. Another thing that you can do within the Attendees tab is send a message. So if you click on Send Message to Me, basically the way that's going to work is it's just going to send an email. So it comes through to the email that you entered or they entered when they signed up for the app, if that makes sense. So you won't get a notification inside your app that you have a message. It's not like a Facebook messaging or anything like that. So they will have to check their email in order to receive that message. And vice versa, if you want to respond, you would just respond via email unless you went back to the app, and it's not like a thread. Alrighty, next up is the exhibitors, which will be the next tab down for you guys or across the top if you're using the web version. All of the exhibitors that are attending are inside of the app, which is a great feature for them and for you. They are listed in alphabetical order. They can also be filtered based on categories. So they gave me categories, and so let's say you want to see all of the consulting businesses, you can hit apply and you'll see all the consulting businesses. If you dig down into their profile, you can see more information about them as well. This exhibitor doesn't have much. But let's see if we can find one that does. There we go. They have at least a little stuff written about them. They also have, as you can see, links to their LinkedIn, their websites, and things like that. Another great way to access the exhibitors is through, if you click on the map function, which will be next. There's an exhibitor map that'll pop up. This exhibitor map is interactive. So if you click on, I just zoomed in a little bit, and if you click on the exhibit booths, Across the bottom, you'll see that it'll pop up with whose exhibit booth that is. And if you click on that exhibitor, it'll pop up their exhibitor information as well. So that's another quick way to find them based on a map as opposed to just a listing, I suppose. You can also rate and review the exhibitors. This will give you more points, the same way as I talked about for the leaderboard and things like that. You can also bookmark exhibitors, and this will add them to your personal bookmarks that you will have that we'll cover later. This is kind of just a way to remind yourself to follow up with somebody, things like that. Notes about the conference that you may forget later and come back to. And this app, that reminds me, this app will be available for basically for about a year, a little less than a year. It's a year from the time we signed the contract. So we'll upload presentations and things of that nature to the app that you'll be able to access even after the event as well, or ask questions to exhibitors, attendees, things like that. Alrighty, the other maps, you can't see it on my screen, but on your screen you should be able to see in the upper right-hand corner, it looks like a little stack of papers icon. If you click on that button, it will show you the different maps that you can access. So we have exhibit hall, a ground floor layout, level 2, and level 3. Those are the different meeting rooms. Those aren't interactive, but it will still give you a different idea of what those are. You can see them. Here they are online as well. I just had to click on the little exhibit hall where it says exhibit hall. Oh.
Still showing on ours. Choose level.
So we're having a little technical difficulty. It just kicked me out of the webinar for some reason. I'm not sure why. So if you have any questions, please ask them now. I'll continue to answer questions while I try to get back in here. I'm not sure why it kicked me out.
That's weird.
Yes, it is. So I think I'm back in action.
Try talking now.
Testing? Okay, we're back up. Sorry about that. I'll try not to click on that same button that I did. So for some reason my app is like frozen and I can't do anything. So I'll kind of just talk through it from this point, I guess, and we'll figure it out from there. The rest of the stuff is pretty self-explanatory either. I think we got through most of the stuff that I wanted to show you specifically. The next thing is the Resources tab. So what you want to do on the Resources tab is click on it. These are going to be all of the materials that we would have normally handed out in your registration packets during the conference as paper copies, but since we're using the app and making a movement to go green, we've included them in the app instead. So as you can see inside of there, there's the annual report, the legislative priorities. We've also included some things that we never would have been able to give you. There's a NACO fact sheet that has a lot of interesting information about NACO, listing of pre-registered attendees, lots of different things. So make sure to look at those different items, and they should be able to help you out during the conference without having to carry around a bunch of paper copies. The next tab is the Travel and Transportation tab. This just gives you some more information as well. Shuttle schedule, will be shuttling to and from the conference hotels to the convention center during the times that are listed behind that item. There's a direct link to the conference website as well as the county directory. These should be helpful in case there's any information that you want to find. The survey tab, right now, the only survey we have on there is the post-conference survey, which will ask you to fill out at some point during the conference, or if you want to go in there at any time and fill it out, I guess that's fine too. It'll be open for a few weeks after the conference. We really do take your feedback seriously, so any information that you can provide is extremely helpful. Polls are kind of the same way. They're a little more pointed towards certain events, and they're more real-time. So we can gauge your satisfaction in real time. If there's anything going wrong, we can try to fix it right away. You also get points for any of these things, so it's just another incentive to try to fill them out. Also, if there's a poll that you want to ask within your affiliate, we can also provide that service. We can add these polls at any time. So let's see. Next up is the speakers tab, which you can also access under the specific agenda items as I showed you before. So these are all the different speakers that will be speaking during the ISAC general session with more information about each. And you can bookmark them as you did some of the different exhibitors, like I mentioned before. Next up are the preferred vendors and sponsors. These exhibitors will also be listed under the exhibitors, but this is just another way to give them recognition. We couldn't do an app like this. We couldn't do a conference like we do without our preferred vendors, without our sponsors, and without our exhibitors. So please take a chance to not only visit them at their exhibit booths, but to give them feedback and to give them thanks personally. They really do appreciate it. Next up is the leaderboard, which we also discussed. There is a presentations tab. Right now it's blank. I'll be adding the keynote presentation to that soon that we just received. And then also if there's any presentations that you would like shared, we can put them up there as well. This is open to everybody, the full membership, and anybody who downloads the app. Keep that in mind. So if it's something that's at all confidential, you wouldn't want it on here. But I'm happy to upload them otherwise. Next up is the bookmarks tab. Anything you bookmark within the app will automatically go under this tab. So it's just another way to make notes to yourself, and to whatever you want to follow up with after the conference is kind of the way I've used it in the past. The photo feed is just specific photos that have been added. It's just another kind of activity feed sort of thing. So also another thing I should mention, within your app, at the very top when you click open the menu, the 3 lines on the left side, you'll see your information at the top, and then you may see a little blue circle, a little blue square with a number in it at times. Those are your notifications, which will also pop up on you'll get notifications that'll pop up. So once you go into the app and click on those notifications, you can see all the notifications that you've gotten. So right now I see that Dawn Goldman followed me. I see that Amy Pickray has followed me and liked my updates, things like that. So I get all those notifications on the back end just like you would on a Facebook or something like that. So that's a neat way to stay connected and to keep the conversation going, to keep your network going as well. And you can clear those notifications at any time. You just hit clear all, and you'll still see them, but they just won't, your circle will go away that says you have 5 notifications or something like that. It'll go back to 0, so you know when new ones pop up. Alrighty. Push notifications are something I just mentioned. This is something that we're asking everybody to turn on their app. We don't need to know your location services. We do not need to know, but we would like you to allow push notifications. This will give us the ability to notify members of any updated agenda items, any conference-wide information in general, if there's a change or an emergency or just general information that we want to make sure to share with you. When you start up on an iPhone, I know it asks you if you want them turned on, and you can say yes or no. But you can also go into your device and turn them on manually. It's actually a very easy thing to do, and I'll kind of run through each device how to do this. On the iPhone, you just go to your home screen and go to Settings, and then Notifications, and then you select the conference app, and then swipe to allow notifications. Basically, swipe it green to the right. Android is extremely similar. You'll go to your settings, and then your app, and then select your app, and then you'll check a box that says show notifications. I believe it's about halfway down the screen if I remember correctly. And then on a Windows phone, you'll go to settings, notifications and alerts, and then you'll select the app and then swipe to turn it on, kind of like you did with the iPhone. The notifications will show up in different ways depending on the type of device you are using and what you're doing on the device at the time the notification comes in. You'll either get a pop-up like a text message, or it'll just pop up across your screen and you'll have to X out of it, or like I said before, it'll be on your app next to your little picture at the top of your bar.
We do have a couple questions,
Okay,
Rachel.
I'll cover a couple questions before I keep talking.
One of the questions was, will this application or app be used for all ISAC conferences and meetings, or just for the fall and spring school?
Right now we have signed a contract for the fall 2015 school and the spring 2016 school. So we went ahead and signed on for 2 conferences. What we're going to do is gauge attendee use for what the cost is and see if it's something that's worth it in the end or not. So if you like the app, the best way to let us know that you like the app is to use it, to let your colleagues know about it, and to let us know about it, so that hopefully it's a service that we can continue to offer in the future. It does cost money, obviously, and it does use a lot of time, staff time, but we feel like it's something that's of great benefit to our members. So if it is, and we notice that it is, yes, I think it'll be something that we continue to utilize at future conferences and events.
Another quick question, how do you bookmark something?
Okay, bookmarking something, let's do an agenda item first. So what you'll do is you'll go into your agenda, which is on your drop-down menu, the 3 little white lines on the left side of your screen. So let's say we're on Tuesday and we want to bookmark something. So an event. So we just click on the little calendar on the right-hand side, and then it'll go into your agenda. And that's your agenda, I'm sorry. Bookmarks are a little bit different. And bookmarks are going to be, so if you go into the, let's see, speakers, I know you can bookmark speakers. So if you go into the speakers tab, which is under those 3 white lines as well, it's the same, it's kind of the same way as doing an agenda item. On the right side, there's a little notebook, it looks like, icon. If you click on that, it will add a little, what looks like a bookmark to it, and that'll bookmark that speaker. Under the exhibitors tab, if you go to the exhibitors, it's the same way. It just looks like a little notebook, and you can click to bookmark that person. And if you are actually inside the exhibitor, the book turns white, and it's on the upper right-hand corner as well. So those are the items you can bookmark, I believe. So hopefully that helps. So right now we know of speakers and exhibitors that you can bookmark, and the agenda items are kind of a different thing that will be under your My Agenda items. Okay. I think that is all I have for now. I still can't seem to get my little thing up and functioning again. I'm not sure what happened, but sometimes that happens, I suppose. So if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them audibly. Or if you have any questions that come up as you're surfing through the app, go ahead and you can either ask them on the app on the activity feed so other people can follow the conversation about how to troubleshoot, or you can send them to me in an email and I can answer you personally, give me a call. Either way works. Again, I do want to stress that we will have people helping with the app at the conference. So if you hear anybody who is against using an app or thinks they're not going to be able to figure it out or needs help in any way, shape, or form, either send them to us or come and get us and point us their direction. We'll be happy to help. We feel like the more people we can get to use the app, the more they'll see its benefit, and it will benefit everybody. So, any other questions before we sign out of the webinar? Thank you for the compliment, Lonnie. There was a lot of help from everybody on the app. It's been a fun project to work on.
I had another question, maybe I missed the initial, about where the recording of this webinar will be.
Oh, absolutely. The recording of the webinar and all webinars that ISAC does are available on the ISAC website. So if you go to our homepage, which is www.iowacounties.org, and across the top there's tabs. The meeting and events tab is a drop down. It's the very last item, webinars. If you click on that, this should be the top webinar that's listed there. Right now it's under upcoming webinars. Later I'll move it down to past webinars if you scroll down a little bit, and the webinar recording will be available right there. So if we don't see any more questions, we'll sign out. Again, don't hesitate to contact us. We're always happy to help, and we are looking forward to an amazing conference. Our registration numbers look good, and things are coming together. So we'll look forward to seeing all of you for another excellent conference. Kelsey, do you have anything to say? Kelsey Steburn is here sitting next to me.
Hello, everyone. Just like Rachel said, I'm really excited for next week. So if you have any questions along the way, myself or Rachel will be here. So we'll see you all next week.
Tammy?
Nope, I think you covered it. You got several compliments on a great app, so good job, Rach.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for attending, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.